know, just like they say, any kingdom you visit, you know, when the queen cook and you reject her food, she gonna think her cooking nasty. You know what I'm saying? So if a king blow one, you gonna blow one too. That's just rules of the territory. Let's blow Reggie. And then we're gonna take that as a form of disrespect. Yeah, man. With that being said, man, you know, we sure appreciate you being here. Mm-hmm. And M.M.O.Ctv has done it again, and we right back at you with a community leader. You know, that's the best way that we dig for information. We about the community. We dig inside the community and get the information from the community members. So that's how we build. That's how we get information out. And the youth and the elders is what we caring about. You know what I'm saying?
Youth is the future.
The youth is the future, baby. So with that being said, M.M.O.Ctv presents a special guest in the house, Washington, D.C., Uptown, Diverse Committee, CEO, YC. Young Pepper. What's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? With that being said, you know, M.M.O.C, we always reaching out to the community leaders, and we appreciate your work done in the community.
Thanks, bro.
You know, last year you really put your organization on a higher plight, and you know you was digging and grinding, and people was being aware of that. So with that being said, we just want to ask you some questions, man, because what we do is, you know, based on your experience and what you've been through, you might help someone else, you know.
Exactly.
You might help the youth.
Each one teach.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to start off with a couple of questions. And, you know, we're going to strictly deal and stay on one topic because for M.M.O.C, we believe that the black community has some reconditioning to do. You know what I'm saying? We got some things to look at deeply for a positive outcome. You know what I'm saying? We need to be doing that. Our first question that I have for you is, what are the solutions to reciprocate the condition of the black community? What if you had the financial power and, you know, the money to change things, the voice to have it, what would be some of your solutions for the black community?
First thing I think we should do is reach the youth. Because like you said, that's the future. So like, I want to say like, have a foundation, but like rec centers back in the day when I was young, that was a good foundation. We go over there and chill and stuff, but now it's not too much, it's not too much stuff you can do out there right now. So I would like to do something to grab the youth's attention, you know, expose them to new stuff. So you need some programs. You would need programs to train their minds while they're young. You know, because right now, once they get our age, they already got learned behavior. Yeah. Right. So in order to change anything, first we need to start with the youth and stuff, get their minds right. But so if I had money to generate anything in the neighborhood, that's what I would do. I start programs and stuff for the youth.
Okay. Great point.
Get them to see different stuff. You know, take them fishing. You know what I mean?
For sure.
A lot of kids ain't been fishing. Take them to do different stuff, rock climbing. You know, something out of their atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's for sure, man. Those are excellent programs, and just to veggie back on that, I feel the same way. I feel the same way because, and even when you take a look at the family structure, the fathers are extracted out of the household. Exactly. So that leaves the kids up to, you know, unlearned behavior. You know, I feel got for you, man, is your thoughts on drugs in our community, and I really believe that because the drugs in our community are really taking a toll on the family structure.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I really feel that story. You know what I'm saying, that you were explaining to me. So what do we do about the drug dealers? Like, what's the positive message that you can give to the drug dealers to change
See, the
this
thing
stuff
about
around?
the thing with that is they're coming from a messed up condition too, and that's the only way they know how to earn. So I'm not gonna be the one that come out there and say, look, man, don't sell no crack. I used to feel bad. I used to be like, dang, I gotta come home seeing pops mess up, so I used to feel like, man, I didn't want to crush all these dealers out here. But then I had to put my mind and see where they're coming from. Man, they coming from broken houses, so they don't know how to work. They ain't gonna get no 9 to 5. And some of them too lazy to do that. So what they're gonna do is do what they do. They're gonna do what they do. The only thing that's gonna happen is that fast money don't last long. So they're gonna drown themselves. That's what's gonna happen. There's nothing we can do about it. But I know I'm not the type of person I want to ride on them. I ain't gonna belly nobody out. I want to never do that stuff. I see him getting money, he getting money. I can't, as long as now whatever he do with it, he do with it. I feel he should get back to the community since you messing it up. That's what I would say. If I was to talk to the drug dealers, please give it back. You help start these programs for the youth. Since you messing up their houses. Now, when it comes to cannabis, that's something different. We ain't talking about that.
Yeah, we definitely ain't talking about that. You know what I'm saying?
But them heavy drugs that mess up a community, destroy the community, that's where we mess up at right now.
Yeah, for sure.
They're going to drown themselves eventually, or they're going to kick us out. That's what they're doing. That's why everybody be like, man, gentrification, they doing this, man. We doing it to ourselves. Then I feel sorry for the ones that's not doing it. It's just, but we ain't gonna go snitch on them. So we gotta adapt. You just gotta be able to adapt. Be a chameleon with your situation. Adapt to your surroundings.
Okay. Well, the next question is, in this day and this time, should we teach our kids or leave an option for them to become a police officer?
Yeah, I would teach my son to be a police officer. But I tell him, I wouldn't teach him to be one. But if that's what he chose to do, I would want him to be the best police officer there is, If my cousin was a police officer, I would want him to be the best police officer there is. It's just the ones that abuse authority, That's the ones I don't agree with. See, we need authority because, like you said, like you said with the crackers, if nobody was down here to stop, I ain't trying to knock nobody, but everybody got a job, You feel me? Everybody got a job out here. Their jobs just, they play cops and robbers and was kids. It was somebody's job to get the robbers. You feel me? So I can't be out here saying, man, I don't want my son to be a police officer. If he want to save the community in his way, that's what he decides to do. My father, he's a firefighter. My father was a retired firefighter. My brother was a firefighter. They chose to save the community their way.
Okay. Well,
I have no problem with you becoming a police officer because, that's what in order to change that structure of the police officers, we need our kind up in there. Because right now, that whole thing is the seeds was already been had. All them things, that whole police officer was started back there with not our kind. They were slave catchers at first.
Oh man.
So they were slave catchers. That's just a whole bunch of trains and commands and stuff. I don't see no black sergeants up there for real. I don't see no black head joints, I see all white people that's it. So they're the ones that run everything. Until we get black figures that's running like how Obama got up in there, we need Obamas in everything. We need an Obama in the police office. We need an Obama in the fire department. We need an Obama everywhere. That's what we need. We need to find all our own Obamas, and that's how we change everything.
Do you that part was a kind of like a 2-part question, so I have the other part for you. We all know what's going on as far as the police force. It's an attack on the black community. They're recording the shootings and the death of the blacks, of us, on Facebook and broadcasting it worldwide. What are your thoughts on the police officers that are good within the force versus the bad ones? What should they do to the mother cops?
It's nothing they can do. It's nothing they can do. It's like I said, they're in that brotherhood. That's their brothers. So
Blue,
yeah, all they can do is just keep working with them and climbing the ladder. But the minute, like, a friend of mine was a police officer before he died. You know, he saw a lot of stuff go on, and that's why he quit the force. He quit the police department. He quit because a lot of stuff that he would see police officers do. You know, a lot of their commanding officers was making them do. If he didn't do it, oh, well, yeah, you're fired. They're gonna find a way to get you fired. So they gonna have to do what they gotta do. If not, they gotta go back to that. That's their brothers. That's their other family. That's who's feeding them. They say don't bite the hand that's feeding you. They're feeding them. So they can't. If they turn their back on them, they like, oh no, you signed this. Come on, man. Yeah. And I wouldn't. And that's why I can't disagree with how they running their stuff. It's their operation. Now, if it was mine, you know, it's something different. Can't do nothing. There's nothing they can do. But they signed up already. They signed that contract. If they was to tell them go shoot us right now, they gotta go do it. They gotta lock their family members up. They would have to do it. So it's just a line of duty, man. All by the citizen.
Wow, man. Okay, we got. I got one more question for you before the bonus question, and that's just a question right off the top. What are your thoughts on homosexuality? Is there an agenda against the black community for homosexuality? And you know, because we understand that Will Smith, son, is the face of Louis Vuitton, and you know, getting into a different level in the business industry movie environment when a black man puts on a dress and he gets his salary chumped up or whatever, and leaves a perception on the minds who's looking at the media or looking at a movie, and their favorite character is a star with a dress on. So what that does to the psyche of the mind, it plays a glitch to leave something open and say, okay, that is an option for me, and makes life a little easier because the show Empire,
right?
You know, they glorifying the homosexual. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the shit on there. You know what I'm saying? He started doing commercials and everything. Right. You know what I'm saying? So they're making that concept, working it into a reality. And
see, the way I see it is like this. Who am I to judge? You know, I don't know what caused that person to feel that pain. You know, so if he's a homosexuality, something caused him to be that way. Like my uncle, he's homosexual, sexual. How did he become it? I guess I don't really know. I think they say he was raped, you know? So,
wow.
So it's certain stuff, measures and stuff to it. Like, something caused that pain in them. And like, what needs to be happening is you need to make them feel comfortable enough to tell you what caused that problem. Because obviously it was something in the household that caused them to feel that pain. And so they're expressing it. They're going out and expressing it like how they're expressing it. See? So I don't feel anybody, like, nobody knows, like they said, no sin is bigger than another. You feel me? So it is. I don't like seeing it myself. I don't like seeing it, but I can't judge them. You know, I can't be like, like I see them kiss. I don't like seeing them kiss. You know, but it's life. That's the way of life, man. If that's what he chooses to do, I can't tell him not to do that. And who am I to tell him not to do that? You know, and if he's successful too, you know, you can't tell him he's wrong. I mean, he is wrong for doing it, but I can't judge that man. It's not my place. That's like me saying, we got a lot of friends out here that are going to commit a murder. But you still say, oh, that's my man. Oh, free my man. Free my man. Everybody's saying, free my man. But, you know, you got to free your man's mind. That's homosexual. What caused him to be like that? We got to understand. I mean, I ain't gonna say I ain't going to be over there chilling with him. I won't, you know. But you know, but I'm not going to judge me. Like if my brother, my cousin, anybody's coming and say, bruh, man, you know, I was like, dang, young, what causing, you know? But I'm not gonna not be like, oh, you ain't my cousin no more.
Right.
No, I'm still gonna give you the fattest J's I got. You know, you still gonna be able to blow the oil. I'm still gonna have fun with you, man.
Respect.
We shouldn't judge nobody. Now, what you do is you find out what caused them to do that, and you make sure it doesn't happen to nobody else. And we tell them to stop feeling so openly out here sharing it so other kids can see it and make them wonder what's going on. Now, if you were raped or something, that's something different, man. But sometimes you got the kids that don't, like I understand what you're saying, little kids look up on it, you don't want them to see that. That's not it.
Yeah.
And so they should be the ones that explain, look, I don't think that's not right. You know, like, I still don't think it should be gay marriage. I really don't agree with gay marriage. I don't agree with that at all. Because there's still something wrong with them. Now you got two messed up people in a room together. You can't do that. Because something caused both of them to be like that. I know they in love, but it's wrong.
You know, that thing about the raping dealings, it seems like whenever someone gets raped, they usually protect the person who did it.
Exactly.
You know, instead of going after that person, you know, especially if it's something in the family. Say if an uncle was doing it to a nephew or something, they usually protect the uncle.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they don't want the uncle to go, yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying? I think that's crazy, in my opinion, because we should be able to attack that right away. You know what I'm saying? And listen to the victim.
See, that's what I'm saying. So, that's what else. You gotta speak. You gotta speak.
Yeah.
Some of them, I know they scared. They're like, they get abused. Some of them get abused.
Yeah.
Terrible, man. I'm just grateful it ain't happened to me, man. You know,
Peace, yeah.
I will make sure it don't happen to mine. So I will try my hardest, you know.
Yeah.
Make sure it don't happen to my family, you know. And if it did happen to somebody, you know, I just man, don't let it stop you. You know, don't let that stop you. You know? Don't let it make you have no excuse to do anything else. That's what the problem is too. They gonna make a lot of excuses. Oh, that happened to me, so I gotta do this. Nah, so I'm making excuses. Go on, get on your grind.
Mm-hmm. Okay, man. We got this this little, I'll say, a game after each interview called Fill in the Blanks. So it's just a couple of questions that we have. You just fill in the blanks as we go along. Okay. If I had all the money in the world, I would.
I'll make my own plantation, build my own plantation. I have my own United States.
If you had a time machine, what would you do first? What would you do to change the future?
Change the future, huh?
If you had a time machine, what would you do to change the future?
First thing I do, I go back with the Native Americans, man. When they go with the Native Americans, you know, I let them know that the white man about to bring these black people over and shit, you know, slaves. And look, we need to be at the water. We all need to be here. Have our arrows just face it. Have our arrows already dead.
Yeah.
As soon as the white man come, don't even think. Don't think twice. Let him go. I would let him go.
Powerful.
And then I would go and connect the black and the Indians, and this would be ours.
Powerful.
That's what I would have did. Stop. I would have made sure every one of them arrows hit every one of them. I'm sorry, I ain't trying to sound racist or nothing, but boom, that would have been gone.
You know, I know they started a lot of shit.
Right there. It would have stopped right there. We wouldn't have to worry about nothing right now.
Yes, indeed. Okay, man. That wraps it up. You know, wraps the interview up of community leaders in the community from M.M.O.Ctv. And, you know, we back at it. YC in the building.
Yeah.
Uptown, Washington, D.C. And we going all over. You know, we're going to have some more people coming up to interview. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check us out because we're gonna be uploading videos over and over, you know, with this information. And then next time, we're going to give you a list of all black-owned businesses in the DMV.
Exactly. We put them right on this
DC, matter of fact, in DC.
Put them right on this table.
Right on the screen. You know what I'm saying? In DC, we're going to have that information for you so you can invest in your people. Okay? With that being said, peace!